Welcome to our podcast, Može Kafa. We are Ivana
and Maki,
your host. In this podcast, we discuss interesting details about Serbian language and culture from a learner's and teacher's perspective.
We offer new and fun resources for learners of Serbian. To follow each episode with annotated script, vocabulary, and quizzes, join us also at Može Kafa Podcast on Instagram. So if you're ready, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the podcast.
Hello everyone, zdravo svima. I'm here with a guest and I am actually alone. I'm not with Maki. She will join us in a week. But today I decided to film an episode which is going to be kind of like a chit chat again with our coffee and interview with our friend. Well, I have to give you an introduction. Her name is Marija Zeljković. She is a geographer, a tour guide, a PhD student, and a learner, and like forever learner, which I love and identify with you. Exactly. So you can say hi if you want to, Marija.
Hi, guys.
I'm going to give you a bit of a background, but just a bit that she finished her master studies in tourism, if I'm correct, right?
Yes,
that was in
yes.
Belgrade?
Exactly, at the University of Belgrade, but it is like Faculty of Geography.
Okay. And then you're actually doing your PhD right now at the Faculty of Geography in Belgrade as well. So I want to tell you, congrats, really. It's a lot of work and we are all keeping our fingers crossed for you. And I've been through it, so you deserve a big applause, and lots of luck. So
thank you.
How's it been so far being a PhD student?
Well, I always have to say that nothing is impossible when you love it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm really happy to be at the Faculty of Geography. I'm really happy because you chose tourism. Mm-hmm. It's my biggest love until now, so I'm hoping it will be perfect in a few years. But until then, I'm trying to learn, as you said, and to start my own business and to finish my PhD, so everything mixed.
You are a multitasker. You have so many things going on. As I said, you are studying, but you are also developing your own business. And you're attending conferences, you're doing tours, you're online everywhere, and you're doing an interview right now. So you're a really busy girl. But I want to ask you kind of, how did you start with tourism? Like why tourism? How did you decide to study that and also to start with this business?
Okay, well, first of all, I have to admit that I'm madly in love with Serbia. Mm-hmm. So I think it's the best country in the world. And I decided to give some kind of a contribution to my country and to show others how great it is. And the Faculty of Geography, because it is like tourism department, it was the perfect choice for that. Mm-hmm. And my love for tourism actually began when I enrolled at the Faculty of Geography. So after master studies and now because I'm on PhD studies, I decided to create something with my 10 fingers, if I can say like that, and to create something new that will be fresh in the current tourism offer here in Serbia. So that formal knowledge and a constant research about Serbia now and at the PhD studies really helped me and encouraged me to start my own business and to promote Serbia in its best.
Yeah, right. I didn't know what you studied like before, but then when I read it, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, I trust you now way more knowing that you know a lot about Serbia, a lot about geography, and of course, like as a speaker of that language and also, the culture as well, which is always a plus. But like, you have that theoretical knowledge, and I know that I can rely on you, and you're going to tell me the most important details when you're going on a tour. But then, so you said that you started, using your own fingers, 10 fingers, and starting your own business. And I checked your website and I wanted to ask you, are you working currently alone or do you have a team that you work with?
Well, I have to say that I'm one woman show.
Okay, for now, or maybe forever,
for now,
who knows?
Yeah. Basically, I have to do everything by myself, but on the other side, of course, I have friends who support my idea, and due to that, they really want to help. So in the beginning, it can be a little bit tough to finish all tasks because there are many obligations, and I'm one woman.
Yeah.
But on the other side, as I said, there are always friends and relatives who want to help. And for example, I have a friend who can help me with the tech part of the business, also a friend who is into marketing and can give me a great advice about it. Also, I have friends who can help me with creative ideas when I'm creating tours. So it is one woman show, but on the other side, there are many people who contribute. And I really appreciate that.
I think that's a good point that you made, because I feel like one of the best qualities about Serbia as a country is that like community driven approach where no one is expecting you to return the favor. They're just there for you. They don't need anything back. They're like, of course, I'm your friend. I'm your like family member, whatever. I'm gonna help you out, whatever you need. So I think
Yeah, exactly.
that's beautiful, because as you said, like what you're doing right now is incredibly inspiring, but also I want to say a bad word, ambitious, really ambitious, And you said it's quite easy to say, oh, just be a tour guide, but like you have to set up a website, you have to think about how to advertise yourself, you have to do all these things, you have to like make it very visually pleasing, but also that the content of your tours is like up to everyone's taste. And it's just like really exhausting if you think about it. That's why I wanted to see like if there's someone helping you out. So that kind of like ties into my question, like how difficult is it to start a business in Serbia? And I'm guessing it's tough from that side, but do you need to kind of like, for now, do you need to like register it, or is it something that you are thinking of doing potentially in the future? Because there are some like tourist agencies and so on, but you're focused only like on like guiding people through Belgrade and Zemun, as far as I got it. Is it difficult to start like with the business side in Serbia?
Well, it can be.
Yeah.
As I said, I also have to deal with business development and marketing and law, so finances and everything. So literally, I have to, in a way, subordinate all my life to the development of this business. But it's not a problem for me because I really love to do this, and I live for developing alternative Serbia,
Yeah.
if I can say like that. Yeah. And on the other side, at the moment, I'm focused on tours in Belgrade, but I have idea to expand the business on the territory of whole Serbia because there are so many beautiful sites and so many interesting and inside stories that can be valuable for visitors. And at the moment, as you asked, I decided not to be a regular tour operator and tour agency because I want to have completely different approach. And that different approach is also related to that online platform, which will make everything easy for foreigners and for visitors. So they can just book a tour from a commodity of their home, and they can do everything very easily. And when they come here, I just want them to feel like they're Serbs. Yeah. So I will try to make everything easier for them and to give the other kind of experience, not just walking behind the guide, not just listening about some historical dates. Of course, they are important. But on the other side, I want them to feel like they're Serbs, to feel a lifestyle, to feel that daily routines here in Serbia.
Yeah, but it's definitely about the experience, as you said. I think it's incredibly informative to just like follow the guide and listen to everything, but it also can be extremely boring because most of the tours are like 2 hours, 2 hours, depending on where you are. Yeah. So I think people want the experience, and I'm guessing that's where you can jump in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So kind of like a segue, because we talk about Serbia a lot, but I want to know which country, place, or something outside of Serbia would you like to visit, or you've already visited, fell in love, and why?
Oh, it's a really difficult question. I mean, it's hard to choose just one country or a few countries that I love because I would really like to travel all over the world and to understand cultures of all nations.
Mm.
But for example, if I have to choose, lately I'm very attracted to Mexico and Cuba
Oh,
because I heard that they have a similar mentality as we do. So they also have that cheerful atmosphere
yeah.
among people, and I would really like to dance with Latin hits on
Do
their
you know how to dance
beaches.
salsa or like
Yeah,
an?
salsa,
Oh,
of course.
cool! I know it too.
Salsa,
Yay!
the salsa is my favorite. So
You learned
because
it?
of that, sorry.
You learned it? Did you like? Was that
Yeah,
something you did regularly? Okay, cool.
yeah.
Okay, good. So I mean, I just remember when you said like Mexico or like Cuba, I just thought of like the colors. That was my first flash, and I'm like, oh,
Uh huh.
that's so amazing, so vibrant over there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and if you did not study tourism or geography, what would you actually do? What do you think you would be doing right now?
Well, probably I've studied psychology or acting
Mm-hmm.
because
Acting.
I've been acting for 15 years and I read about psychology on a daily basis.
That's cool.
So I think that those have always been my great loves. And even now, I have found an application for them because you can learn a lot from acting about entertaining foreigners, for
Mm-hmm.
example. And on the other side, the psychology is perfect for understanding the needs of foreigners
Yeah.
and tourists here.
Definitely. So it's a really good like kind of like a constellation where you're you transferring that knowledge into other areas of your life.
Exactly.
What is one thing about Serbia that you love? Because you said that you love Serbia so much. So I had that question once. I was like, I'm really curious about what you're gonna say.
Ooh, it's again hard to say one thing because I can say that I love everything about Serbia because it's my home, it's my family, everything I love is there. And on the other hand, for me, Serbia is like country of passion and youthful enthusiasm, good energy. So people are very close to each other and they're very empathetic and constantly looking for a way and excuse to have a party, which is amazing for me. And I think that goal of every Serb is just like to pass his day with as many smiles as possible,
Yeah.
and I think that is fantastic. And apart from that, I think that the greatest treasure of this country, apart from natural sights and beautiful culture and long history, I think it's inhabitants and their hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the fact that people here they're always sing, dance, drink,
Yeah.
and despite many disturbing moments from the past, they're still proud and satisfied with life. You know,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. I think that although they do not have much in that material sense,
Yeah.
they're always ready to give, and I've never experienced such warmth anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I get what you mean, definitely. And whenever I go back to Serbia, it's such a different world, and I'm like, I can just see people, and yeah, they're all very welcoming. Very, I mean, I don't want to say that they're like they are satisfied with what they have. They appreciate what they have. They share what they have, even though sometimes it's not a lot, but it's all about that sharing. But now, actually, because you said already things, I know you love Serbia, but what is one thing that you would change if you could about Serbia?
Yeah, there is a thing. I would try to raise people's awareness about on the importance of preserving the environment.
That's a big one.
I think it's very important to increase the number of educational lectures related to ecology and pollution, and to take much more serious measures to preserve the quality of life and the environment.
And that's something that you also kind of contribute to. And that ties into my next question, which is why should we book a tour with you? Why not with other agencies? Tell me a bit about like what is that, perspective, or like what is new that you bring in.
Before we continue with the show, here's a quick reminder. This podcast is free for everyone and supported by listeners like you. We hope that this podcast is useful and convenient to you. This is a labor of love for both of us. To help us continue creating useful content for everyone, we will appreciate your help. If you have the means, you can support us in different ways. You may just go to buymeacoffee.com/mozdekafa podcast and send us some cups of coffee. You may also become a member of our show on patreon.com/mozdekafa podcast and get extra benefits like bonus content, full transcripts of the show in Serbian, or even join us on the show. We rely on your support to help everyone more in learning Serbian language and culture. Thanks for joining us today, and now let's get back to our episode.
Well, shortly. It can be short.
Yes.
We basically don't offer just tours, but lifelong memories and experiences. And sustainability is a very important part of our business plan. And also, we want to build such an intimate connection with the guests and to basically adjust everything to their needs. And also, the idea behind Alternative Serbia is to make foreigners feel like they're Serb for a day. So basically, our goal is to make them feel like Serbia is their home away from home.
Yeah.
And we want to tell them everything that nobody has told them and you, of course, because we want to reveal everything that nobody has told them about Serbia so far. And that's part of our mission. And also, if I have to say, I think that our approach to business is different because, for example, we donate part of each eco tour for planting trees, and also we donate money from each food tour for the hungry and similar charities. So I think that people really recognize that as our advantage, if I can say like that.
I think that's a really big, it's really selfless. I mean, you are, having like being paid for tours, and you're deciding that you take away from that money to actually, help out in some way. And I wrote down some things that I really like, which is that eco-friendly approach, as you already said. I really like the fact that you're dealing with a lot of like local businesses too, which is not like mass, like mass known businesses. What is the hunger relief program? I read about that.
Yeah, that as I mentioned, part of money from each food tour we donate to the hungry and to charities, because the food is something that is always related to Serbia and Serbian mentality. It's very important for foreigners. And on the other side, I am aware of economical situation here in Serbia, and people don't have so much money, and that costs of living are high. So I think it's very important to help if we can help. And on the other side, my business is based on local people. I want foreigners to meet locals, to talk with them, to feel that energy, and just to reveal how it's to be Serb and to live in Serbia. Yeah. So I think it's very important to give something back and to help your community and to help the local economy, because it will give a lot in return.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win situation. I mean, I think you really nail it when you say like, today it's a lot about experience and less about just like sightseeing. And I have one kind of anecdotal thing from my life, which is I went to South Africa like 1 year ago, and I went there and we booked a tour. It was, again, not a like tourist agency. It was just like one person who was kind of like well known in it was in let me think about it. Johannesburg, which is Joburg, and there's this one part called Soweto, which is kind of like the how do you call it? Like a bit poorer kind of side of Joburg. And if I can remember one thing, it was that tour. It was that tour because she was like, I mean, that woman is earning really good money for that, but when she takes money from you, she also uses that money to take you out in a cafe or a restaurant, so like she's gonna use that money. So basically, like, you're paying for the meal in a way. But she's like, just relax, and we're gonna walk, and we're gonna take the public
Right.
transportation, because I want you to feel how it is being like living here. Obviously it's not going to be 100% authentic because we were like mostly whites over there, so it's like a different experience. But yeah, we would just like talk to people. We went to one bar. Everyone was really like curious that we were there, and we just had the best time ever. I could cry thinking about it. So how happy I was in that moment. So I think that's the impact you can have on others. And guys, she is offering various different types of tours. So you have tours based on where you want to go. If you want to be historical, if you want to be more like culture based, if you want to go to food wise, you also have like veggie offering like tours,
Yeah,
because I'm
it's
vegan.
very
So
important.
yes.
Yeah, I think that in Serbia you have many restaurants now that offer vegan cuisine, but on the other side, I'm not sure how many tours
Yeah.
offer just like vegan custom tours.
Yes.
So it was my idea to offer something that will suit any kind of niche on the market, you know.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that because you are open minded, they can just contact you and say, hey, this is what we would like to see. And you can combine one with the other and be like, okay, this is what I can offer you. So I think that's like that kind of a flexibility is something that people also look for.
Of course,
Um,
and in 21st century, I think it's really very important to have those kind of tailor-made tours, so people can basically choose and combine everything, and it will be the best experience for them.
yeah, exactly. Um, what are the restrictions now with COVID? I mean, I think they're changing, but are there any tourists now in Serbia? Like, what's happening with the tests? I think you have to pay for the test now. I think before it
Yeah.
wasn't like that, so I'm guessing it's a bit worse now with tourists.
Yeah, now if you want to travel, it can be a little bit pricey
Hmm.
because of those measures. But on the other side, I think that measures here in Serbia are not so strict.
Hmm.
You know, you have some kind of measures, but basically life is functioning normally.
Yeah,
Only hospitality and tourism industry are excluded from that system, but on the other side, we don't have so strict measures. And I
yeah,
think it's really hard to find an optimal balance
yeah. I
between
think
those
so.
measures, because on one side you have economical and psychological consequences of those measures, and on the other side you have really big health issues. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's always a risk you take, and it's kind of funny because I'm in Germany here. We have a totally different approach. I also don't really know what I agree with, but I know that people are like, "Oh, we went to Serbia finally, like life." People are hanging out. Like, "Oh my God, I'm not closed in my room," because here no one's hanging out. You're not allowed to, like maybe with one or two people from the same household. So it's like a relief when you finally go to Serbia and you're like, "Ah, okay, I can hang out."
yeah.
I have a question regarding a tour. What is your favorite tour from the ones that you offer?
I mean, it's like you're asking a mother what is her favorite
Favorite kid.
child.
Sorry, but maybe
No.
there's something sentimental about it. Maybe there's some place you love the most or something you're attached to. I
Uh-huh.
don't know.
Well, since the food is very important in Serbia, and foreigners always ask about Serbian food, cevapi, pljeskavica, sarma. So because of that, I would maybe suggest for the first tour a traditional taste of Belgrade, because on that tour, guests have the opportunity to try very traditional and old meals and dishes here in Serbia, and also they have the opportunity to visit some old unique places with a long tradition and history, and it can be interesting for that first impression about Serbia. And after that, we can go into details and discover some hidden gems and
Yeah.
something more specific.
Yeah, but yeah, as you said, something authentic, that's what it is. Um, okay, now I have some rapid questions before we wrap everything up. What are your three favorite Serbian meals or dishes?
Okay, sarma, of course.
Mine too. Okay.
Sorry?
Mine too.
Okay. Cevapi
Mm-hmm.
and cicvara.
Titvara.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Is there something specific like how to it because your mom makes it like that, or you are like?
Yeah, of course, my mom makes it perfectly, but it's very important for me because we usually prepare it for Christmas, so it's some kind of a Christmas tradition.
Okay, so there's also something sentimental to it.
Yeah.
3 favorite desserts.
Baklava,
Okay.
makovnjača.
What is that? I don't know about that.
It's like dough filled with that poppy seeds.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Good.
And vanilica.
Oh, now I realize why you said makovnjača. It's gibanica s makom, isn't it? Is it?
Well, it can be, but we don't make it like gibanica.
Ah, okay.
In my family, we make it like strudel.
3 favorite places to visit in Serbia.
Maybe monastery Studenica.
Mm-hmm.
Then River Canyon Uvac.
Mm-hmm.
And Zemun Key.
Zemun Key. Just for everyone to know, we have many monasteries. Like this is a thing. So if you go, you should definitely check something out. 3 favorite Serbian products, edible or not. I said edible or not because I'm like products from Serbia. It can be anything.
Well, I will choose edible.
Okay.
Kajmak, Ivar, and rakia. This is easy.
Oh, okay. Pretty much like my boyfriend. He's like, he loves kajmak. I never liked it. But he's like, he even here, he's like, let's buy Ivar, let's buy this. And rakia, guys, I'm going to have an episode on rakia. It's a very important thing in Serbia. Then I don't know if you're gonna think of these, but like the funniest or the weirdest word in Serbia, maybe because how you pronounce it or something. Can you think of that?
Well, I chose one. It's karakonjula.
Oh, karakonjula. Can you explain?
Well, basically in the past it represented some mythological creature in those parts of Europe, but today we use it for a woman that is like with bad makeup or quarrelsome mood and I don't know, messy hair or something like that.
You know, I've never used that word. In my area, we use some different words for that kind of woman, but yeah, that's a good one. What is the most difficult word to pronounce in Serbian?
Oof, all words.
Because of consonants or?
Well, because of everything. I mean, especially for some people who don't have those kind of ch, j, sh in their language. Mm-hmm. But I chose a different word. It's prestolonaslednikovićeva.
Oh, the longest word. One of the longest words, at least.
Yeah, it's like kind of a possessive form of heir to the throne. Mm-hmm, so it is really hard to pronounce it.
I remember that one. I remember when I was learning it. What are the 3 things your parents always tell you? Repeat or...
The first one is promaja ubija.
Yes.
Drought kills. In Serbia, it's very dangerous to be with the impact of the drought. Yes. And the other can be nemoj da sediš na hladnom betonu.
Exactly, because you're gonna get sick. I mean, don't do it.
Of course, don't sit on cold concrete.
Exactly. They still tell me that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, till the end of life.
Yeah.
And for example, it can be also samo ti plači, manje ćeš piškiti.
That's the first time I heard this one. So
really?
Yes.
Oh my God! How it's possible? People here say that constantly.
No, but it's a good one. It's a good one when you're sad and you're like, there's good sides to being sad. Can you translate it for the viewers?
Yeah, of course. It's like cry and you will pee less.
Exactly. So you'll lose water, therefore, or like fluids, and therefore you're gonna pee less. That's a good one. Now, guys, whenever you're sad, someone's crying, you just say, there's a silver lining. You're gonna pee less. Okay, describe yourself in 3 to 5 words.
It's very hard to talk about myself. But
I
if
know.
I have to,
But if I
I
have
will
to.
choose nice words.
Of course.
Smiling, persistent, energetic, caring, and let's say Serbian.
Serbia. Oh, that's a good one. The last one, that's a good one. And all of this is gonna really, I feel like, is gonna help you out with your story, with your business story, your overall like. I think you're at the right place. I think Serbia is the place for you. You enjoy everything about it. The things that you don't enjoy, you try to change. So I think people like Serbia needs people like you.
Thank you.
And guys, check out her website. She's on Instagram. She is on Facebook too, right? She's
Yeah.
on LinkedIn as well. I think you have a link on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So she has all the information. If you need more information, just contact her, like text her, ask her questions. And she's very, very active on Instagram. You post stories, you post pictures all the time with like the description and everything, all the information. There's literally everything, cultural, historical. So you're gonna see it all. If you end up going to Serbia, she's a person for you.
Thank you for those kind words. I really try to give my best and to give value to people who read and who check out my pages.
I think that's the most important thing, value. And I just the last thing I want to mention is that someone recommended you, and I checked out your Instagram, and you had like around 100, maybe like 50 followers, and now she has like 1,000. How many do you have? Yeah. So I think that's telling of how good you're doing your job and how much potential you have and your business has. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you again for being here. Hvala puno.
Thank you. Hvala tebi.
And guys, stay tuned for the next episode. We're gonna have more guests and Maki's gonna be back. Pozdrav.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our podcast and learned something new.
In case you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, make sure to share them on our Instagram page, Može Kafa Podcast. Prijetno!